Welcome back. Well, one of a father's biggest responsibilities is to keep his family together. Lebo M, a composer, producer, mostly known for the Lion King production as well as other production, has been chronicling his journey to reunite with his children on his reality show on Showmax. In fact, the show is titled Coming Home. He joins me now as we celebrate Father's Day this Sunday. Lebo, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I mean, this show in itself, I've had the pleasure of being able to watch it. Certainly does require one to put their heart on their sleeve. And certainly one would say that you've become very vulnerable, very authentic, very bare about even some of your shortcomings. What made you even take that leap of faith, so to say, and say, you know what, guys, I'm going to show you my life and I'm going to show you who I am?
Well, first, thanks for having me. And let me start by saying Happy Father's Day to all the great dads out there. But I think especially more so the amazing mothers that are both mom and dad. So happy Father's Day. The journey to doing the reality show has taken quite a few turns and is not something I honestly wanted to do. But how it was sold to me was, hey, Dalebza, people don't know you. They only know the Lion King guy. Wouldn't it be amazing post-COVID lockdown to be part of a national discussion about family and family dynamics, given how dynamic your family is. And at that time, it really was a brilliant idea. And I loved the fact that through us, we'll be part of conversations with families in the country, especially the part that really sold me was post-COVID. Of course, when we started shooting, there was quite a million dynamics behind the scenes that were happening that did not necessarily fit the plan. So the plan took its own journey.
Yeah.
But it was really intended to be a platform to create conversation around family dynamics and family issues, which I'm pretty comfortable most people are not unfamiliar with some of the dynamics that came out of our season one.
Yeah, I mean, certainly speaking about conversations being started around family and family dynamics, one would say that you even made us introspect, right, into our own families. In fact, there's a saying that says a family is perfect by the picture. And when you were watching, and obviously the unraveling of the family dynamics themselves, was there ever a point where you said, you know what, this has gone too far, I've revealed way too much about myself, and I don't even know how I'm going to walk in the street so that people, because once you open up your life, you open up your life for both skepticism, criticism, as well as praise, wouldn't one say?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was not a question of gone way too far. It was, to be honest and frank with you, you know, you can plan stuff, but there are things that you can't plan for.
Yeah.
The one key thing that I did not plan for, that I know the director did not plan for, was what I would call the emotional thread that took over the show immediately. For example, from the scene with me and my son, when we first sat down, I came with a different hype to the table. My son came armed with emotions that caught me off guard. And we realized later that that emotional thread had a major impact on the rest of the episodes. That's one. And while shooting, dealing with other dynamics, you'll notice in the show where I say we're just connecting with Angela at that time. We're just literally disconnected. So it's like shooting and watching dynamics unfold before you, while you're also part of the audience, while you're also part of the cast. So there's nothing that I'm feeling bad about, except, of course, the intended heroes became the villain. That's myself and my son. But that's because of dynamics, the million dynamics that were happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I'm not really surprised by the audience reaction, because the audience, like in a movie or in a Broadway show, or in this case in a reality show, audience reactions is based solely on what they are seeing and what they're observing. So I'm not at all feeling untoward by the major perception of backlash towards how real some of our characters were. even though some were not as real as we anticipated that they would be.
Well, let's talk real right now. What does fatherhood mean to you?
Yeah. It's a hard one because it's Father's Day, and as some of my fatherly dynamics have come out through season 1, it's hard because as fathers, all we can do is do our best to provide and protect our children up to a certain age where our children decide their own destiny or their own direction. And to be more specific to the show, you see in my relationship with my son almost deteriorate in front of people, in front of the audience. That is not something that I'm very proud of. That is not something that I was prepared for or ready for. It caught me off guard. But hey, it's part of parenting, especially now when there are third-party dynamics and third-party emotions that are now involved that one was not ready for. But you get to a point where you sort of let go, sometimes very painfully so, but it is what it is. As a parent, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think one would commend you for being able to lay it out on the table, so as to say, so that us as the audience can find some kind of resonance and maybe even identify with some of the challenges and the dynamics around the family structure. So in 30 seconds, very quickly, otherwise they're going to kill me in that studio, what would you say to dads today who are in the midst of reuniting with their children?
Well, I'll say my experience is we're living in very difficult times. And these times mean our thought process, our principles and values may be, in most cases, in conflict with our children, especially in the modern world. But I try my best to stick to my principles. I try my best to do that which I think is right on behalf of my children, even sometimes very dangerously so. You can only do so much when you see your son or your daughter make difficult decisions that your foresight says, but this is a really bad decision, and I don't support it.
Yeah.
And when forces, other family members, other people are going for that decision, there's only so much you can do. You can only hope to go to sleep feeling okay that you've done your best for your child or your children. In my case, I'm very comfortable that I've done the best for my children. I'm very comfortable that under very difficult circumstances, I've given the best I could to my children. And when they then decide their direction, I kind of sleep at peace.
Yeah, Lebo, certainly commended for being able to be so authentic and especially taking us through a journey of your own life of reuniting. We're going to leave it there for now. Lebo M joining us and reflections on fatherhood, one would say, and still ahead.